Hello, my fellow individuals! I am Mr. Mini Mask Man here, and today I'm going to review Season 6, Episode 5 of Game of Thrones. Now, obviously this review will be filled with spoilers, so if you've not seen the episode yet, don't watch this video until you do so. God, dude, this episode, man. This episode. I feel broken. I really do, and for people who have watched it, you already know why. Jeez. I mean, I don't know, man. I liked the episode, but I really did. I thought it was another good episode, but the last part, man. Okay, let me just break it down, at least get to that part in the end. I'm just gonna break down the episode from whatever to call it what I thought, so let me just get myself together so I can explain normally the episode without breaking down. So, alright. So, it starts with, Sansa Stark gets a letter from Peter Baelish, or Littlefinger in this case, and he's actually around there, so she confronts him, and she's basically pretty pissed at him because of the whole, marrying her off to Ramsay Bolton, and we already know what happened. So all you need to know is that she doesn't trust him at all. She already knows him. She's starting to know him too well. But he's saying, hey, I'm sorry, let me make it up for you. I got, the Tullys, the army waiting for, to join forces with you to fight against the Boltons, but she says she doesn't need it, that she doesn't need his help and all that, so, but, later on it'll come back to that, but basically she doesn't want anything to do with him at all, because of, because of what he did, so, and, I don't know, I guess we can see what will happen there, but, Littlefinger's up to no good as always, so I don't know what to scheme. If he really means what he's saying, asking forgiveness from Sansa and all that. Probably not. But, we may never know. But anyways, he just offered his help to her, and, she said no, basically. Now, after that, we got actually quite a bit of Arya's arc. So all you need to know is that now she can see again, she's training with the other girl, or the wife, however you pronounce it. And basically the girl's telling her that you're not ready. She basically she threw down a stick and she was like, fist almost like kickboxing style or boxing style, punching her and all that. And even Jaqen H'ghar, he told her, it's like saying, maybe she's right, you're not ready to be, part of the Faceless Men, or the Faceless Assassin. So, they're kind of doubting her. He says, you've been given a second chance, I'm not going to give you a third chance. Now, it goes to where Arya's watching this play in Bravos. And it's showing, the beginning of Robert Baratheon when he was king, his death, and all the events basically that happened in Season 1. And she was laughing and all that until, she saw the part about her dad, Ned Stark. They're portraying him like some naive idiot. And all that, obviously she got offended, but, after the play, she goes and sees, the actors or actresses, or basically her target. Her target. And she looks at the woman with the main actress in there, and she just seems like a normal, regular person, not a bad person, at least from the impression. So after that, she goes back to Jaqen H'ghar saying, hey, says, do we really have to kill her? She doesn't seem like a bad person. And, he says, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. He says, we're just given a task and we have to do it. Now, here she's almost questioning him about these decisions of killing people. And it almost looks like she might... It's an interesting point here. He almost is doubting what they're doing. But she still wants to learn how to train and all that, so I don't know if Arya will stay fully committed to this whole Faceless Men thing, or if she's gonna do her own thing later on, just get the skills and leave, which I highly doubt that'll be easy to do, just leave. So, I don't know, it's kind of interesting what Arya's gonna do from that point. It's kind of like, you kind of see her hesitating now. So, we don't know what's her decision gonna be. But it's kind of like in between now. At least that's from what I've seen. But, that's basically what happened there. Now it goes to Bran. The first scene of Bran Stark in this episode. It shows another flashback, and this is an interesting one. You see the Children of the Forest, you know, all those girls, that's what Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven. And you see a flashback around that tree, you know, the tree I'm talking about with the face and all that. You see that they have, I don't know what it was in their hand, a stone or a dragon stone or something. And you see a regular man. They put it inside the man, and he all of a sudden his eyes become blue, and boom, you got yourself the first White Walker. Possibly that might have been the Night's King. So Bran wakes up and he looks at them. It's like, it was you. So you're the one that created the White Walkers. And the Children of the Forest are like, well, yeah, because we needed protection. It's like, protection from who? From you, from humans. So what I'm getting at is they basically created the White Walkers in defense of humans destroying nature. Almost like a Poison Ivy agenda, in a way. But okay, we got the reveal how they started. Well, maybe not 100%, but at least sort of the beginning and how these White Walkers started. But even like that, though, I want to say it was like weak as a weak backstory of the White Walkers, but it was just kind of like, yeah, this is how it was, and that's it. I was like, oh, okay. So it didn't feel like as big as, holy crap, that's how they started. It was just more like, oh, okay. So that's how White Walkers became what they are. But that was it. So the revelation that wasn't exactly 100% surprising as I thought it'd be. But, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, but it was still an interesting fact to know. So, some new information that we learned. Now, if I recall after that, we go to the Greyjoys. So they're trying to vote for the next king or ruler of the Iron Islands. And you see Yara Greyjoy, or if you want to call her Asha from the books, but she's saying that she deserves it because she will help them lead the Ironborn and basically take back what's theirs, all that stuff, her big speech. The majority were motivated, some were doubting her because, she's a woman, and said, we won't have a queen ever to rule the Iron Islands. But, she's just keep telling him that. They said, well, you got Theon there, why doesn't he do it? And he basically stands up for her and tells her she deserves it. And everybody was on board. Until we see Euron Greyjoy. So now we actually see him, how he looks and all that. He comes forward, and he basically tells them that he needs to rule. He says he deserves it because, he says Balon Greyjoy, his brother, the one that he killed obviously in episode 2 of this season, he said he didn't deserve, to rule anymore because of what he did and all that, and he doesn't think his nephew or niece, which is Theon and Yara, don't deserve either to rule because they don't have that much experience and none of that, and that he deserves it because he knows how to make boats, he knows how to sail. He says he sailed everywhere, so he knows places and he promises to take it back. So some people were cheering him on, but Yara was saying that you're the one that killed her father, and he even admitted, it's like, oh yeah, I threw him over. But some people were on board, some people were still hesitant that they wanted Yara Greyjoy. Now, he actually ended up being the ruler. Why? Because he promised them, interesting fact here, he promised them he's going to go all the way where Daenerys Targaryen is. Marry her, get her dragons, go back to Westeros, and basically conquer the things with dragons. Conquer the whole freaking Westeros with dragons in King's Landing. Now, obviously from the people who read the books, you already know that was his agenda. But there was also something else, besides just marrying her. There's also one more thing that apparently, I don't know if the books will do the same thing in the show, but he has a backup plan in case the whole marriage thing doesn't work out. He has a plan to steal the dragons using a specific item. I don't know if the show's gonna reveal it, or if they scrapped it out, I don't know. But anyway, so it was announced that he was ruler. Now, during that time, Yara and Theon, those two were escaping. They went on the boats. They took all of them and they sailed off. I don't know where they're going, honestly. I think they're just escaping from him, or they're... I don't know if it was clear enough that where they were heading, or they're just escaping from Euron Greyjoy. But anyways, after that, Euron looks at him. He looks at the boats and he tells everybody to build them boats immediately, so they can go after those two and continue, with his agenda of going where Daenerys is, and he promises them, says we're gonna take over all of Westeros. So they go on board. So we get Euron Greyjoy's more of his introduction. We saw the snippet in episode 2 of this season, but now we see him as his full character. So another interesting character we're gonna see in this show. I just hope that they play him out well, just like in the books. But hey, I don't know. We'll see. Now we go on to Daenerys. You see her with Daario and Jorah, and she's basically, I think she already forgave Jorah during when he helped her with the Sons of the Harpy attack last season. That she was basically telling him to stay, but he says no, and he shows her the grayscale, on his arm. And now she knows, and he says he can't be with her, and he confesses his love to her, and and all that. And you could see Daenerys broken and sad, and that's saying, please don't leave. He says, I'm still your queen, your Khaleesi. He says, I'm going to give you an order to find a cure for this grayscale. And he says, once you find it, come back to me. And I need you to be by my side when I rule King's Landing and all of Westeros. So she basically gives him this heart moment. It's a heart moment. I guess between her and Jorah. It's about, it's about damn time that Daenerys appreciates Jorah for all that he's done to her, that he's done for her in this case. So I was actually happy in that moment. So I was saying, good. I'm glad that happened. So now, hopefully, I really hope so, Jorah finds a way to get rid of the grayscale like Stannis Baratheon did with his daughter Shireen Baratheon. I think it was something about some witch and all that stuff, but I don't know. Hopefully so. Jorah finds a way to cure that. But I don't know. We'll see. And then after that, we go where Tyrion and Varys are, and they're thinking of an idea to get people more to get on Daenerys' side and Meereen. So they ask help from another Red Witch, another servant of the God of Light, or the Lord of Light, I think it was called. So now we have another Red Witch in the show, Hooray! But they're basically asking her to get those people to worship Daenerys and all that. I think that's what I got. I can't remember fully. But Varys did not like her at all because he despises sorcerers and religious fanatics and all that. But then she knows about him, and it was an interesting scene where she was, having a dialogue with Varys, telling him about his past, his feelings. And it was very interesting. I was like, huh. So we get this new character, another Red Witch now in this show. And I assume we're going to see more of her. So there's going to be an interesting interaction between her and Varys. So can't wait to see how that goes now. Especially about Varys. I want to know more about Varys. Because he's like another key player in this show besides Littlefinger. Or Peter Baelish, whatever you want to call him. I thought that would be an interesting way. Let me see what I recall. After all that, I believe it was back to Bran again. So the second scene with Bran. Now you see Bran. I think he crossed into one of the tree branches where the three-eyed raven is. He touches the branches and he sees a freaking whole army of the Whites and the White Walkers, including the Night's King. And then they actually saw him, and I was like, holy shit. And then the Night's King gets super close to him and he touches his arm. He grabs him. And then Bran, I believe he wakes up, but the Three-Eyed Raven's, is like, what did you do? And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. He says, great, now he touched you, didn't he? And you see the mark on Bran's arm. And he says, once he touches your arm, now they know where you are, where this location is. Now they're going to come after us. So then in the moment I was watching, I was like, holy crap, are they really coming now? I was like, god damn. So I was, kind of getting goosebumps for the White Walkers are coming now to Bran and where they're located. So now they're in trouble at this point in the episode. After that, actually, they went back to Sansa, back at Castle Black, and Jon Snow was talking tactics about who's loyal to the Starks, how much they need in the army for their army to fight against the Boltons, and basically they kind of saw that they were outnumbered, but Jon says, but there's still houses around the north where he says where we can actually build a bigger alliance with these guys and have an equal match with the Boltons and their alliances, which I believe is the Karstarks and the Umbers. So Sansa actually says, hey, there's actually, the Tullys will actually help us, and Blackfish is leading it. They already got Riverrun pretty much covered. So it's like, oh good. It's like, how did you know that information? And then she actually lies and says, oh, I got it from a raven, Raven's note or message back at where Ramsay was. I believe it, that's what I recall she said. So then now you see Sansa makes a decision, and now she actually does need the army. Peter Baelish's help. But you see Bran confront her later. She's by herself, and he says why she lied. And I believe she just didn't want Jon and the rest to know about Littlefinger or Peter Baelish, because they might do something. Again, obviously, who wouldn't? In this show, who would you really trust Littlefinger? But that's us. We already know. We watched the show, so we kind of clearly know we can't trust him at all. But in the show, the characters, I don't know if they're gullible to follow what he says or do what he says, or maybe not. And maybe Jon Snow would have him killed if he knew that he gave her up Sansa to Ramsay. Which I think that's why she didn't tell the truth about it, because she technically still needed Baelish for that help. So she didn't want him dead yet. But so she sends Brienne and Oliver, just her, Brienne, Jon Snow, Tormund, and you see Tormund just keep hitting on Brienne. We're gonna see more of that so-called relationship between those two characters. Tormund and Brienne. Huh. But anyways, they're gonna go try to talk to the other houses to join the Starks, or join Jon Snow and Sansa, while Ed takes care of Castle Black in the meantime. So that's what's happening there. So I guess we're gonna see more of, I don't know how many episodes, maybe not that many, we're already halfway there in the season. But probably at least two to three episodes at most about, Jon talking to the other houses and joining forces. And then we get to the last scene of the episode. The big one of this episode. It goes back to Bran again. And the Three-Eyed Raven told him to leave. Told Meera, Reed, Hodor, and Bran, especially Bran, to leave, to get out of there. But Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven are seeing more visions of the past. In the meantime. And then, all of a sudden, you see outside, the Children of the Forest go outside, and Meera sees it. And what do you know? The Whites and the White Walkers are there. They arrived. And that's where the action began. That's so much suspense and intensity when they were there. You see the Children of the Forest throwing their so-called grenades, is what I call them, at them, blowing up some more of those friggin' Whites and all that. And then you see the 4 White Walkers, the Night's King and the 3 generals. It was like a circle of fire they ended up going, and they crossed through it because, their sheer coldness just completely blew out the fire. And then Once inside, you see Mira trying to get Bran out. She's asking Hodor for help, but Hodor, he was just kind of sitting there. He was on something. He was just kind of repeating his name over and over like that. And then you see the children of the forest fighting all the whites inside the where they are. And then one by one, the children of the forest are getting killed while they're killing the other whites. And then you see one of the White Walkers general come in, like way in there in the center. And you see frickin' Mira Reed grab a spear, I think, with a dragon stone on the tip, and she throws it and she kills, boom, already one of the White Walker generals. I'm like, oh sweet, hey, another one down. So there's still 3 left. We gotta deal with 2 more generals and the Night's King. 3 more White Walkers, at least I would say. Now, that happens, but they're still coming in close. And Mira Reed is trying very hard to wake up Bran. But he's not. He's still having his visions of the past where you see Ned Stark, Ned Stark's dad, Hodor, Kid Hodor, and all that. He's still in the vision. And Mira Reed is really trying to wake him up. And then you slowly hear, Bran hears her voice through the vision. And you, God. Here we go. Okay. So, most of the children of the forest are getting killed. And she grabs, I believe she grabs Bran. And Bran and Hodor, with one of the children of the forest, are running away. And then you see Summer. We haven't seen Summer, the Bran's direwolf, come in, trying to protect him. And I was like, sweet, we haven't seen him in a while. But, so, they ran away, but Summer decided to stay to try to hold them off. And when he was there, a group of whites surrounded him, and they started stabbing him and eating him and all that, and why are they killing more direwolves? Why? Why are they killing more direwolves? Man. I don't know, man. This whole... more direwolves are getting killed, and... for me, when I saw that, I was more... instead of more kind of like, tragic, like Shaggy Dog thing, I was kind of more pissed, to be honest. To be honest, there's no reason to kill Summer. You could have just ran with them and tried to hold them off with them, back them up, but I know I read through the internet, social media, people are saying, oh, I guess budget-wise, I don't want to spend more CGI and all out for direwolves. But even like that, just the way that he died, it was another brutal death of a direwolf. And I kind of get sort of a symbolism where summer's ending, fall begins, and winter is coming. So, I kind of get it, but it was just very, you see Summer, and boom, he's dead. Almost like Osha, like from last episode. So, but still, man, I was still kind of heartbroken on that. Another direwolf dead, I'm like, god damn it. So now we're only left with 2 direwolves. With Ghost, who's with Jon, and Nymeria, which is Arya's direwolf, still somewhere over there in Westeros. Somewhere. We don't know. Or in Riverrun. I can't remember, but she's still there. So we only have 2 left now. Maybe Shaggy Dog because of that theory that I explained. I think it was last episode or 2 episodes ago. But, yeah. But technically I would still say 2. There's only 2 left now. For sure. I don't know, man. I'm still... But anyways, that happened. And then you see the Night's King confront the Three-Eyed Raven while he was still warging her, in the visions. And then you see in the vision, the Three-Eyed Raven told Bran, he says, you have to go now. He says, you have to take my place. And but Bran's like, but am I ready? And he's like, no. Basically, you're far from ready, but You still have to do the job. My time is up. And then basically the Night's King kills the three-eyed raven. I'm like, well, damn, there goes him. Another very important character just died. Well, maybe not important, but he was training Bran and all that, so now he's dead. Night's King killed him, and you see him disappear in the vision. I'm like, well, there goes the three-eyed raven. I'm saying, but yeah, he dies, and then you see more whites coming, and now the last children of the forest stayed and sacrificed herself to hold them off, while Mira, Bran, and Hodor are running to the door. And she basically sacrifices herself and has the last grenade and blows up a bunch of whites with her. So now all the children of the forest are dead, I assume. So there goes that now. So we lost Summer, the direwolf, three-eyed raven, and the children of the forest. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of death this episode. But the very last one, the one that hit me the hardest. And next to Summer the direwolf. But so this is what happens. You see, they're trapped. The door can't open it, and they're telling Mira's telling Bran to warg into Hodor, I believe. And I think Bran does warg into Hodor, the present one, while Bran is still in the vision of the past, and he sees Kid Hodor. Now, when they open the door, they actually finally get out. Hodor closes the door, and you see Mira taking Bran, running. And she tells Hodor to hold the door. Just keep repeating, hold the door, over and over. That you hear Bran in the vision. I think he hears her saying that. And then all of a sudden you see the kid Hodor. He kind of looks like he warged in a way, almost like Bran warged the past Hodor. And you see him having a seizure. And in the past they're like looking, like I believe Hodor's caretaker's mom or whatever. And these people are like, what's wrong? And you see him having a seizure, and he keeps saying, Hodor, back then when he used to talk, he was saying, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door, over and over. And you see Hodor still holding the door while the whites are breaking the door slowly, little by little. And you see Bran's face when he looks at the Hodor of the past, the kid Hodor. And he keeps saying, hold the door. While he's having a seizure, he's like, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door. And then you see the whites breaking the door, and they started, little by little, they started injuring Hodor until, when they did that to Hodor. And then all of a sudden you see the kid Hodor, instead of saying hold the door, now he starts saying Hodor, Hodor, Hodor. And Mira and Bran ran away. And Hodor just hold that door for the best in his life. And Hodor just holds that door. And what I assume, all the whites are coming, tearing him apart little by little, stabbing him and all that, scratching his face off, and you just see, I assume Hodor's dead. And you kind of see why Willis, his real name, he keeps saying Hodor in the past. It was because of what Bran did in the future, or present, that affected him in the past. Because he warged present and past Hodor at the same time, that it just kind of caused that trauma or epilepsy or whatever in the past. And then it just went to black. So Hodor's gone. And out of all the tragedies in this show, all the deaths, I know this is Game of Thrones, we should be used to death by now. It's season 6. The worst death of the worst, but this one... The one with Hodor, man. God, it really hit me. I didn't cry or anything, but... It was almost urging me to. At least a tear, but... God damn, dude. It really hits you hard when you see that moment. Of all characters... Hodor's, I believe, was the most heart-wrenching. And kind of sad of how he became how he is, and his whole purpose of life was just to hold the door to save Bran. His whole purpose. That was almost like his destiny since the beginning. And it's just a very tragic moment. Jeez. Like I said, this episode, at least for me and most people, really hit it hard. I would say, honestly, I know people say, there's some people say, well, the Red Wedding is still the worst. But, for me, I would say now it's like, here's the Red Wedding and here's Hodor's death. It's like this, I would say. Because the Red Wedding was more of a huge shock factor. And a very brutal way to kill the people that you loved in the show. But, technically it was Robb Stark's fault if that happened. When he didn't follow the rules of Walder Frey. About, marrying one of Walder Frey's daughters. So technically, in a way, it was kind of Robb's fault. But obviously he still got betrayed by Roose Bolton and all that, but... Hodor, on the other hand, he was just such a most innocent character. Sorry, I have to eat something, but I'm gonna miss the hell out of Hodor. The character that we all loved, the most innocent in this show, pure heart, pure goodness. And to see him die like that, the way that he died, the reason, his whole destiny from his past to that point, it was just something very heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, soul-crushing, whatever you want to call it. Very, very, very tragic. I'm like, god damn. We already know this show, the series, or George R. R. Martin, shows no mercy when it comes to our favorite characters, but I honestly did not expect this. At least not in that way. Man. But, I guess just say this was basically the episode, and so the only thing I'm just kind of questioning now, just to kind of change the subject of this whole situation, is I guess theorize for the next episodes. Daenerys is gonna go back to Meereen with the Dothraki and kind of fix things there. Tyrion and Varys still fixing stuff in Meereen politically and diplomatic. Arya, I guess, still training, but kind of doubting. So we kind of see what she's gonna choose. Sansa and Jon recruiting, basically. The Greyjoys, Euron Greyjoys after now Theon and Yara. And then Bran. I don't know where he's gonna go, man. Where Meereen Reed and Bran are gonna go. They're gonna go past the wall or somewhere to escape. Because the White Walkers are after them now. So I don't know what's gonna happen to them next. What's their next move? But yeah. So that's just kind of more sort of what I think is going to come up next. And this episode, we haven't seen nothing at King's Landing, which I was kind of happy because in some arcs, we kind of need at least almost an episode break. So I think we're going to see now more about, Cersei and the High Sparrows and all that next episode. I think that's what I remember from the previews. But yeah. Overall, I like some parts of the episodes, and I would say this episode I really like this episode because of those few moments, especially the last moment. I thought it was very suspenseful, action-packed, and very heartbreaking, especially of the death of Summer the Direwolf and Hodor. So it was another, I would say, definitely top list of a heartbreaking episode of a character or character's death. So, yeah. Oh, Game of Thrones. When will we ever learn to be strong in these shows? We thought we were after so many deaths that we've seen in this series. And yet it's just amazing how this show can still make us feel like that. You wouldn't think that we would have gotten used to this, but we still aren't. And it defines our humanity, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I would say I can't wait. Well, I can't wait to see the next episode and so forth, obviously. And overall, I like this episode. Even with all those feelings, which I think that's why I liked it, because it makes you feel something. For how attached you are to a character and all that, and the events. But yeah, I like this episode, and can't wait to see more of it. So I think I'm just going to call it now since it's already been too long in this review. But anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked the video, you know what to do. So, I will not look at doors the same way again. So, rest in peace, Hodor. And remember, people, always hold the door for someone. So you guys, have a nice day.